You are not separate from God. You are not disconnected from the source of all creation. This is the truth that changes everything, and yet it's the truth most of us spend our entire lives running from. We've been taught to believe that we're alone, that we're small, that we're limited beings struggling to get the attention of some distant deity sitting on a throne somewhere far away. But that's not the truth. That's never been the truth. The universe doesn't work that way. God doesn't work that way. You don't work that way. What you are, at your core, is the same essence that creates galaxies, that breathes life into every living thing, that orchestrates the perfect dance of atoms and molecules and stars. You are that, not a piece of it, not separate from it. You are it, experiencing itself through the unique lens of your individual life. When you look up at the night sky and see billions of stars scattered across the darkness, you're not looking at something foreign to you. You're looking at your relatives. You're made of stardust. Literally, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe. All of it was forged in the heart of dying stars billions of years ago. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself. You are God experiencing what it's like to be you. This isn't poetry, this isn't metaphor, this is physics, this is biology, this is the fundamental nature of reality. And when you truly understand this, when you let it sink into every cell of your body, everything changes. Your entire life transforms because you stop seeing yourself as separate from the power that creates worlds. Think about it. What is God? Is God some old man with a beard who judges you and keeps score of your mistakes? Is God some distant, unreachable force that you have to beg and plead with to get what you need? Or is God the infinite, creative intelligence that flows through everything that exists? Is God the field of pure potentiality from which all things emerge? I'm telling you, God is not separate from you. God is not outside of you. God is the very essence of your being. It's the life force that beats your heart without you having to think about it. It's the intelligence that heals your wounds, that grows your hair, that digests your food. It's the creative power that gives you ideas, that allows you to love, that enables you to dream and hope and create. And here's what's so incredible about this truth. If you are not separate from God, then you have access to all the qualities of God. You have access to infinite creativity. You have access to unlimited love. You have access to boundless wisdom. You have access to the power that creates universes. It's not somewhere else. It's not in some future time when you become good enough or spiritual enough. It's here, right now, inside you. But we don't live this way, do we? We live like we're disconnected. We live like we're powerless. We live like victims of circumstance, tossed around by the winds of fate, hoping that maybe, just maybe, if we're lucky, God will notice us and throw us a bone. And that's the great tragedy. That's the great illusion. Because the truth is, you are never disconnected from Source. You can't be. It's impossible. You're like a wave thinking it's separate from the ocean. The wave says, I'm just a little wave. I'm not powerful like the ocean. The ocean is huge and mighty, and I'm small and insignificant. But the wave is the ocean. It's made of the same water, governed by the same laws, connected to every other wave, connected to the depths, connected to the whole. The wave's sense of separation is just an illusion created by its temporary form. That's you. You're the wave thinking you're separate from the ocean of consciousness that is God. And because you believe in this separation, you live in fear, you live in lack, you live in limitation. You think you have to struggle and fight and compete for the good things in life because you believe there's not enough to go around. You believe you're separate from the source of supply. But when you wake up to the truth, when you realize that you are not separate, everything shifts. You stop living from fear and you start living from love. You stop living from lack and you start living from abundance. You stop living from ego and you start living from spirit. And that's when miracles become natural. That's when synchronicities happen all the time. That's when your life becomes a beautiful dance with the divine. Now, let me tell you something about this universe we live in. This universe is not random, it's not chaotic, it's not meaningless. The universe operates according to precise mathematical laws. There's an intelligence behind everything. There's an order to it all. And that intelligence, that order, is what we call God. Scientists have discovered that the universe began with a big bang about 14 billion years ago. From a single point of infinite density and temperature, everything that exists exploded into being. And here's what's remarkable. In that first fraction of a second, all the laws of physics that govern our reality were set in motion. The strong force, the weak force, gravity, electromagnetism, all perfectly calibrated to allow for the existence of matter, of stars, of planets, of life. If any of these forces had been even slightly different, we're talking about changes so small they're almost inconceivable, none of this would exist. The universe would have either collapsed back on itself immediately or expanded so quickly that matter could never form. The fact that we exist, that anything exists, is a miracle of such staggering improbability that it demands an explanation. And the explanation is consciousness. The explanation is intelligence. The explanation is God. The universe didn't happen by accident. It happened through intention. It happened through the same creative force that flows through you. Right now, as you hear these words, you see, the universe is not a dead mechanical thing. The universe is alive. The universe is conscious. And you are the universe becoming aware of itself. When you look at a flower, the universe is looking at itself. When you feel love, the universe is feeling love. When you create something beautiful, the universe is creating through you. This is the secret truth about God that changes everything. God is not separate from creation. God is creation. God is the creative process itself. And you, as a human being, are the highest expression of that creative process in this corner of the universe. You have the ability to think, to reason, to choose, to love, to create consciously. You have the ability to co-create with the divine intelligence that sources everything. But here's where most people get stuck. They believe in God, but they believe in a God that's separate from them. They pray to God, but they pray as if they're beggars asking for favors from a stingy king. They try to be good so that God will reward them, as if God is keeping score and they need to earn enough points to get into heaven. This is all backwards. This is all based on the illusion of separation. The truth is, you don't have to earn God's love. You already have it. You are it. You don't have to become worthy of God's blessings. You already are worthy. You were born worthy. Your worthiness is inherent in your existence. Think about it this way. Does a flower have to earn the right to bloom? Does a tree have to prove itself worthy of growing? Does the ocean have to justify its existence? No. They simply are. They exist as expressions of the creative force of the universe, and that's enough. That's perfect. You're the same way. You exist as an expression of God, and that's enough. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to earn anything. You just have to align yourself with the truth of who you are. You have to let go of the beliefs that tell you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. Those beliefs are lies. They're illusions. They're not based on truth. The truth is that you are a magnificent divine being having a temporary human experience. The truth is that you have unlimited potential because you're connected to the unlimited power of the universe. The truth is that you can create anything you want in your life because you're made of the same stuff that creates galaxies. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, if this is true, why is my life such a mess? If I'm so connected to God, why do I struggle? Why do I suffer? Why don't I have everything I want? And these are valid questions. They deserve real answers. Here's the answer. You're not disconnected from God, but you can be disconnected from the awareness of your connection to God. You can forget who you are. You can buy into the illusion of separation. And when you do that, when you believe you're just a small, limited, separate self, you create from that belief. You manifest limitation because that's what you believe in. Your beliefs create your reality. This is not New Age nonsense. This is quantum physics. At the subatomic level, the observer affects the observed. Your consciousness literally shapes the reality you experience. When you believe you're limited, you experience limitation. When you believe you're abundant, you experience abundance. When you believe you're connected to infinite intelligence, you experience wisdom and guidance. The universe is like a mirror. It reflects back to you what you believe about yourself. If you believe you're separate from God, you'll experience separation. If you believe you're one with God, you'll experience unity. If you believe life is hard, life will be hard. If you believe life is a gift, life will be a gift. This is the power you have. This is the creative power of consciousness. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're the creator of your experience. And the moment you realize this, the moment you take responsibility for your beliefs and your thoughts and your choices, that's the moment you reclaim your power. But taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that happens. It doesn't mean beating yourself up for your past mistakes or your current circumstances. Taking responsibility means recognizing that you have the power to choose your response to everything that happens. You have the power to choose what you believe. You have the power to choose what you focus on. You have the power to choose who you're going to be. And when you make those choices from a place of understanding that you're connected to God, everything changes. When you choose to see yourself as a divine being having a human experience rather than a human being trying to have a spiritual experience, your whole perspective shifts. You stop trying to get things from the universe and you start letting things flow through you from the universe. You stop asking, what can I get? And you start asking, what can I give? You stop focusing on what's missing in your life and you start appreciating what's already here. You stop waiting for your life to get better and you start making your life better by being better. This is what it means to align with God. This is what it means to live from your divine nature. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about remembering who you are. It's about choosing love over fear, abundance over lack, possibility over limitation. And here's the beautiful thing. When you start living this way, when you start operating from the truth of your divine connection, life responds. The universe responds. God responds. Because you're no longer fighting against the current. You're swimming with it. You're flowing with the creative force of life rather than resisting it. Synchronicities start happening. The right people show up at the right time. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. Problems that seemed insurmountable suddenly resolve themselves. It's like the whole universe conspires to support you. And it does. Because you're not separate from the universe. You're part of it. When you align with your true nature, the universe aligns with you. Now, let me talk about this idea of prayer for a moment. Most people pray as if they're trying to change God's mind. They pray as if God is withholding good things from them, and they need to convince God to let go of the blessings. Please, God, give me this. Please, God, help me with that. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help, but that kind of prayer comes from a belief in separation. Real prayer is different. Real prayer is not about changing God's mind, it's about changing your mind. It's about aligning yourself with the flow of divine energy that's already moving through you. It's about opening yourself up to receive what's already being given. It's about removing the blocks you've put in place through your beliefs and your fears and your doubts. When you pray from a place of understanding your oneness with God, you don't beg, you don't plead, you give thanks, you affirm, you claim what's already yours by divine right. You say, thank you for the abundance that flows through me. Thank you for the love that I am. Thank you for the infinite creativity that sources my life. You pray as if your prayers have already been answered, because in the spiritual realm, they have. You just need to align yourself with that reality. This is what it means to pray without ceasing, as the scriptures say. It doesn't mean you're on your knees 24 hours a day. It means your whole life becomes a prayer. It means you live in a constant state of gratitude and connection. It means you see God in everything and everyone. You see the divine in the face of a stranger. You see the sacred in an ordinary moment. You see the miracle in your next breath. When you live this way, you're not waiting for some future time when you'll finally be spiritual enough or good enough or evolved enough to experience God. You're experiencing God right now, in this moment, in this body, in this life. You're not trying to get somewhere else. You're being fully present right here, knowing that right here is where God is. Right here is where the divine lives. Right here is where the miracle is happening. And this brings me to something really important. A lot of people think that spirituality means rejecting the physical world. They think you have to rise above your body, transcend your humanity, escape from this earthly plane. But that's not it. That's another form of separation thinking. You're not here to escape from being human. You're here to experience being human as an expression of the divine. You're here to bring spirit into form, to bring heaven to earth, to demonstrate what it looks like when God takes on flesh and bone and walks around in the world. Your body is not separate from spirit. Your body is spirit made visible. Your body is the temple of God, not because God visits occasionally, but because God lives there permanently. Every cell of your body is infused with divine intelligence. Every atom of your being is vibrating with the creative energy of the universe. So honor your body, care for your body, love your body. Not because your body is all you are, but because your body is how you express who you are in this physical dimension. Your body is your vehicle for creating, for loving, for experiencing, for contributing. Treat it with respect. Treat it with reverence. Treat it as the sacred vessel it is. The same goes for your emotions. A lot of spiritual teachings tell you to transcend your emotions, to rise above anger and sadness and fear. But your emotions are not your enemy. Your emotions are messengers. They're guidance from your inner being. They're telling you when you're aligned with your true nature and when you're not. When you feel joy, when you feel love, when you feel peace, those emotions are telling you that you're in alignment with who you really are. You're connected to Source. You're flowing with the divine current. Keep doing what you're doing. When you feel anger, when you feel fear, when you feel despair, those emotions are telling you that you're out of alignment. You're believing thoughts that aren't true. You're focused on something that doesn't serve you. You're disconnected from your awareness of your divine nature. Change your thinking. Shift your focus. Reconnect with the truth. Your emotions are not good or bad. They're just information. They're like a guidance system built right into your being. When you learn to listen to them, when you learn to use them as a compass, they become incredibly valuable tools for staying aligned with your highest self. The same principle applies to your thoughts. You have somewhere between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are the same thoughts you had yesterday and the day before and the day before that. Most of them are unconscious, automatic, habitual patterns that you've been running for years or even decades. And here's the thing, most of those thoughts are not serving you. Most of them are based on fear, on lack, on limitation. Most of them are reinforcing the illusion that you're separate from God, that you're powerless, that you're not enough. But you have the ability to change your thoughts. You have the ability to choose what you think about. You have the ability to redirect your mind away from fear and toward love, away from lack and toward abundance, away from limitation and toward possibility. This is one of the most powerful practices you can develop. Watch your thoughts. Become aware of what you're thinking about. Notice when your mind is dwelling on problems, on worries, on all the things that could go wrong. And when you catch yourself doing that, gently redirect your attention. Choose a better thought. Choose a thought that feels better, that serves you, that aligns with who you really are. You don't have to believe the new thought completely at first. You just have to choose it. You just have to practice it. And over time, as you consistently choose thoughts that align with your divine nature, those thoughts become your new habit. They become your new default. And when your thoughts change, your life changes. Because your thoughts create your reality. Not directly, not magically, but through the actions they inspire, through the feelings they generate, through the way they shape your perception of the world. When you think abundant thoughts, you notice opportunities you would have missed before. When you think loving thoughts, you attract loving people and experiences. When you think powerful thoughts, you take powerful actions. This is how you co-create with God. Not by trying to manipulate the universe, not by using positive thinking as a technique to get stuff, but by aligning your consciousness with the truth of who you are and then acting from that alignment. And here's what happens when you do this consistently. You start to experience a sense of ease, a sense of flow, a sense that life is working with you rather than against you. You stop feeling like you're pushing a boulder uphill. You stop feeling like you have to force everything to happen. You start trusting. You start allowing. You start relaxing into the natural unfolding of your life. This doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means you take inspired action rather than desperate action. You move forward with confidence and clarity because you know you're supported. You know you're guided. You know you're connected to infinite intelligence that knows the way even when you don't. And this intelligence, this divine guidance, is available to you all the time. It's not something you have to search for outside yourself. It's not something you have to go to a guru or a priest or a teacher to access. It's right there inside you, in your intuition, in your gut feeling, in that quiet voice that speaks to you in moments of stillness. But you have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to slow down and get quiet and tune in to that inner guidance. Most people are so busy, so distracted, so caught up in the noise of the world that they can't hear the still, small voice of God speaking through their intuition. That's why practices like meditation are so valuable. Not because meditation makes you special or spiritual, but because meditation creates the space for you to hear what's always been there. It quiets the chatter of your mind so you can tune in to the wisdom of your soul. It helps you remember who you are beneath all the roles you play and all the identities you've taken on. When you meditate, you're not trying to get somewhere or achieve something. You're just being. You're just resting in your true nature. You're just allowing yourself to feel the presence of God that's always been there, always will be there, always is there. And from that place of presence, from that place of connection, everything becomes clear. You know what to do, you know where to go, you know what choices to make. Not because you figured it out with your intellect, but because you felt it with your intuition. You sensed it with your inner knowing. You received it from the divine intelligence that flows through you. This is living from spirit. This is living as God lives. This is what it means to be fully human and fully divine at the same time. You're not choosing between being spiritual and being practical. You're bringing the spiritual into the practical. You're demonstrating heaven on earth. You're being the change you wish to see in the world. And when you do this, when you live this way, you become an inspiration to others. Not because you're preaching or teaching or trying to convert anyone, but because your life itself becomes a teaching. Your presence becomes a gift. Your way of being in the world shows others what's possible. People will ask you, how do you stay so peaceful? How do you stay so positive? How do you handle challenges with such grace? And you can tell them the truth. You can tell them that you're not separate from God. You can tell them that they're not separate from God. You can remind them of who they really are. But the most powerful way you teach is not through your words. It's through your example. It's through living from that place of connection. It's through being love, being peace, being joy, being abundance. When people see that in you, when they feel that from you, something inside them awakens. Something inside them remembers. Something inside them says, yes, that's possible for me too. And that's the real reason you're here, not to accumulate things or achieve status or prove yourself. You're here to remember who you are and to help others remember who they are. You're here to be a light in the darkness, a presence of love in a world that's forgotten how to love, a demonstration of what it looks like to live from your divine nature. This is your purpose. This is everyone's purpose, not some specific job or career or role, but this fundamental intention to be an expression of God in human form. Everything else, all the specific details of your life, flow from this central purpose. When you align with this purpose, when you live from this intention, your whole life becomes meaningful. Even the ordinary moments become sacred. Even the mundane tasks become holy, because you're doing everything as an offering, as a gift, as an expression of the divine love that you are. You're not waiting for retirement to start living. You're not postponing your happiness until you achieve some goal. You're not putting your life on hold until conditions are perfect. You're living fully, completely, totally right now, because now is all there is. Now is where God is. Now is where life happens. And in this now, in this present moment, you have everything you need. You have the air to breathe. You have the heart that beats. You have the consciousness that's aware of being aware. That's all God. That's all divine. That's all miraculous. When you really see it, when you really feel it, you realize you're already living in heaven. You're already experiencing paradise. You've been there all along. You just forgot to notice. So wake up, open your eyes, see the truth of what's right in front of you. You are not separate from God. You never have been. You never will be. You are the presence of God in this moment, in this place, in this life. Act like it, think like it, be like it. Stop waiting for permission to claim your divine inheritance. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you're worthy. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect before you step into your power. You are worthy right now. You are powerful right now. You are divine right now. The universe is not testing you to see if you deserve good things. The universe is constantly giving you good things. You just have to open yourself up to receive them. You just have to align with the flow of abundance that's always flowing. You just have to say yes to the blessings that are trying to reach you. And those blessings are not just material things. They're not just money or possessions or success. The real blessings are peace of mind, joy in your heart, love in your relationships, meaning in your work, connection with the divine. These are the things that make life worth living. These are the things that satisfy the soul. You can have all the money in the world and still feel empty if you're not connected to your spiritual source. You can have all the success and recognition and still feel lonely if you're not living from your true self. But when you're connected to God, when you're aligned with your divine nature, you can have very little in material terms and still feel rich beyond measure. You can face difficult circumstances and still feel at peace. You can encounter challenges and still feel supported. Because your sense of well-being doesn't come from external conditions. It comes from internal alignment. It comes from knowing who you are. It comes from living in harmony with the creative force of the universe. This is what it means to be truly successful. Not having a lot of stuff, not being famous or important, but being at peace with yourself. Being in love with life, being connected to your source. That's the success that matters. That's the success that lasts. And you can have that success right now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to earn it. You just have to choose it. You just have to remember the truth. You are not separate from God. You are an expression of the divine. You are the universe experiencing itself through your unique perspective. Live from that truth. Make decisions from that truth. Treat yourself and others from that truth. And watch how your life transforms. Watch how doors open. Watch how synchronicities multiply. Watch how love flows. Watch how joy expands. Watch how peace settles into your bones. This is your birthright. This is what you were born for. Not to struggle and suffer and barely get by. You were born to thrive, to flourish, to create, to love, to be fully alive. You were born to demonstrate what's possible when a human being remembers their divine nature. So stop playing small. Stop hiding your light. Stop pretending you're less than you are. The world needs you to shine. The world needs you to be bold. The world needs you to claim your power and use it for good. The world needs you to be the full expression of God that you came here to be. And when you do that, when you step into that fullness, everyone benefits because you're not separate from anyone else. We're all connected. We're all one. When you heal, the whole world heals a little bit. When you grow, the whole world grows. When you shine your light, you give others permission to shine theirs. This is how we change the world. Not through force, not through fighting, not through trying to fix everything that's wrong. We change the world by changing ourselves. We change the world by waking up to who we really are. We change the world by living from love instead of fear, from abundance instead of lack, from connection instead of separation. And it starts with you, right now, in this moment. You have the power to choose differently. You have the power to see yourself differently. You have the power to live differently. That power is the power of God flowing through you. Use it. Trust it. Follow it wherever it leads. Your life is a gift. Your consciousness is a miracle. Your existence matters. Not because of what you do or achieve, but because of what you are. You are the universe made conscious. You are God experiencing life through your eyes. You are love itself taking form and walking around in the world. Never forget that. Never doubt that. Never let anyone convince you otherwise. You are divine. You are eternal. You are infinite. And you are here right now for a reason. Trust that reason. Trust yourself. Trust the process of life. Trust God, knowing that God is not separate from you, but is the very essence of your being. This is the secret truth about God and our universe. It's been hidden in plain sight all along. You are what you've been searching for. You are who you've been waiting for. You are the answer to your own prayers. Come home to yourself. Come home to God. Come home to the truth of who you are. And from that place of homecoming, live your life fully, freely, fearlessly. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your life. Make it count. Make it beautiful. Make it divine. You're watching this right now because something inside you knows. There's a readiness in your soul that you might not even be able to name yet, but it's there. It's been calling to you, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in shouts, and you've arrived at this moment not by accident, but by divine appointment. The universe doesn't make mistakes. When you're ready to hear something, it appears. When you're ready to grow, the teacher arrives. When you're ready to change, the circumstance is alive. And you're here now because you're ready for something bigger than you've been living. Let me tell you something that will change everything if you let it sink in. You are not separate from God. You are not disconnected from the source of all creation. You are an expression of the divine, a piece of the infinite. And everything you've been searching for outside of yourself has been inside of you all along. The power that creates worlds lives in you. The same intelligence that grows a baby from 2 cells, that turns an acorn into an oak tree, that keeps planets spinning in perfect harmony, that same intelligence is breathing you right now. But here's what happens. We forget. We get so caught up in the world of form, in the material reality, and what we can see and touch and measure, that we forget who we really are. We start believing we're just these bodies, just these limited beings, struggling through life, trying to survive, trying to get ahead, trying to be happy. And when we live from that place of forgetting, life becomes hard. Life becomes a battle. We feel separate, alone, afraid. We think we have to do it all by ourselves. We think we have to fight for everything we get. The moment you're ready to remember the truth is the moment everything shifts. And you're ready now, or you wouldn't be hearing these words. Something in you is waking up. Something in you is saying there has to be more than this. There has to be another way to live. And you're absolutely right. There is another way. There's a way of living that's peaceful, that's joyful, that's abundant, that's connected. And it starts with one simple shift in how you see yourself. Stop seeing yourself as this small, limited, separate being. Stop identifying with your body alone. Stop thinking you're just your history, your past, your mistakes, your problems. You are so much more than that. You are infinite possibility. You are pure potential. You are a spiritual being having a temporary human experience, not a human being hoping to have a spiritual experience. When you get this, when you really get this, your whole life changes. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That sounds nice, but my problems are real. My pain is real. My bills are real. My struggles are real. And you're right. In the world of form, those things exist. But here's what you need to understand. The world of form is created by the world of thought. Everything you see in the physical world started as a thought. This room, this device you're watching on, the clothes you're wearing, everything was a thought before it was a thing. And your life is the same way. Your life is a reflection of your dominant thoughts, your beliefs, your inner world. You want to change your life? Change your thoughts. You want to change your circumstances? Change your mind. You want to change what's happening around you? Change what's happening within you. This isn't positive thinking mumbo jumbo. This is how the universe works. This is the law. What you think about expands. What you focus on grows. Where your attention goes, energy flows. You've been creating your life all along, you just didn't know you were doing it. You were doing it unconsciously, by default, based on old programming, old beliefs, old patterns that were handed down to you. But now, you're ready to create consciously. Now you're ready to take responsibility. And I don't mean responsibility in that heavy, burdensome way. I mean responsibility. The ability to respond. The ability to choose. The ability to say, I am the creator of my experience. I am not a victim of my circumstances. I am not at the mercy of the world. I am the world. I am creating it with every thought I think, with every word I speak, with every action I take. When God knows you're ready, what happens? Things start appearing in your life. Books fall off shelves. You hear a song with exactly the message you needed. Someone says something that strikes you. You have a dream that shows you something. You feel drawn to watch something, to read something, to go somewhere. These aren't coincidences. These are divine appointments. These are the universe responding to your readiness. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. You're the student. This moment is the teacher. The question is, what are you ready for? Are you ready to let go of old grievances? Are you ready to forgive everyone, including yourself? Are you ready to stop being a victim of your past? Are you ready to release the stories you've been telling yourself about why you can't have what you want, why you can't be who you want to be, why life is hard, why things never work out for you? Are you ready to let all of that go? Because here's the truth. Those stories aren't true. They never were true. They were just thoughts you kept thinking until they became beliefs. They were just programs running in your subconscious mind, creating your reality over and over again. But you're not your programs, you're not your conditioning, you're not your past, you're not even your thoughts. You're the awareness behind the thoughts. You're the consciousness that observes everything. And when you identify with that awareness, with that consciousness, with that observer, you're free. Freedom is what you're really looking for. It's what everyone is looking for. Not freedom from circumstances, but freedom within circumstances. Not freedom from problems, but freedom from being controlled by problems. Not freedom from pain, but freedom from suffering. There's a difference. Pain is physical. Suffering is mental. Pain happens to the body. Suffering happens in the mind. You can experience pain without suffering when you don't resist it, when you don't make up stories about it, when you don't identify with it. And this is where the readiness comes in. You're ready to stop resisting life. You're ready to stop fighting what is. You're ready to stop arguing with reality. Byron Katie says, when I argue with reality, I lose, but only 100% of the time. Think about that. Every time you say, this shouldn't be happening, this isn't fair, this isn't right, why me? You're arguing with what is. And when you argue with what is, you create suffering. Not because what is so terrible, but because you're resisting it. What if you stopped resisting? What if you just allowed everything to be exactly as it is? What if you said yes to life, yes to this moment, yes to what's happening right now, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's not what you wanted, even if it hurts? When you stop resisting, something miraculous happens. The suffering ends. You might still have the problem, you might still have the challenge, you might still have the pain, but the suffering ends because you're not fighting anymore. You're flowing. You're allowing. You're trusting. Trust is a big part of readiness. You're ready when you're willing to trust. Trust that life is for you, not against you. Trust that everything is happening in your favor, even when it doesn't look like it. Trust that there's a bigger plan, a higher purpose, a divine order to everything. Trust that you're being guided, that you're being supported, that you're being loved by a force greater than you can comprehend. But trust isn't blind faith. Trust comes from knowing. And you know by looking at your life, by looking at nature, by looking at how things work. Has your heart ever forgotten to beat? Have your lungs ever forgotten to breathe? Does the sun ever forget to rise? Do the seasons ever forget to change? There's an intelligence running this whole show, and it's the same intelligence that's running you. So why would you think you have to figure everything out? Why would you think you have to control everything? Why would you think you have to make everything happen by force? You don't. You just have to align with the flow. You just have to get your ego out of the way. You just have to stop trying to be God and let God be God through you. Your job isn't to make things happen. Your job is to be available, to be open, to be willing. Your job is to say, use me, flow through me, let me be an instrument of your peace, your love, your light. When you live like that, when you live from that place of surrender, life becomes effortless. Things start happening that you couldn't have made happen. Doors start opening that you didn't even knock on. People start showing up with exactly what you need. Opportunities start appearing out of nowhere. This is what happens when God knows you're ready. The universe conspires in your favor. All of creation starts working together to support you, to guide you, to help you fulfill your purpose. Because you have a purpose. Everyone does. You didn't come here by accident. You didn't just randomly appear on this planet. You're here on assignment. You have something to give. You have something to contribute. You have a unique expression of divinity that only you can bring forth. But most people never fulfill their purpose because they're too busy living someone else's life. They're too busy trying to meet other people's expectations, trying to please their parents, trying to impress their friends, trying to keep up with society's standards. They're living from the outside in instead of from the inside out. They're letting the world tell them who they should be instead of listening to the voice within that knows who they really are. You're ready when you're willing to be yourself. Your authentic self. Not the self you think you should be. Not the self other people want you to be. Not the self you've been pretending to be. But the real you. The you that exists when nobody's watching. The you that knows what you truly love, what truly lights you up, what truly matters to you. That's the you the world needs. That's the you that has something to offer. That's the you that makes a difference. Stop apologizing for who you are. Stop trying to fit in. Stop dimming your light so other people feel comfortable. Stop playing small because you're afraid of being judged, criticized, rejected. Who cares what other people think? Who cares if they understand you? Who cares if they approve? You're not here to get approval. You're here to give your gift. And your gift can't be given if you're hiding it, if you're holding back, if you're waiting for permission. You don't need permission. You need commitment. You need to commit to being who you came here to be, no matter what. You need to commit to following your inner guidance, even when it doesn't make sense to anyone else. You need to commit to trusting yourself, to believing in yourself, to honoring yourself. Because when you honor yourself, you honor God. When you trust yourself, you trust God. When you love yourself, you love God. You and God are not separate. What you do to yourself, you do to God. What you withhold from yourself, you withhold from God. So many people are waiting to feel worthy before they claim they're good. They're waiting to feel deserving before they accept abundance. They're waiting to feel ready before they take action. But here's the secret. You don't wait until you feel worthy to claim your good. You claim your good and then you feel worthy. You don't wait until you feel deserving to accept abundance. You accept abundance and then you feel deserving. You don't wait until you feel ready to take action. You take action and then you feel ready. Readiness isn't a feeling. Readiness is a decision. It's a choice. It's a commitment. You decide you're ready and then you are. You choose to be ready and the universe responds. You commit to being ready and everything shifts. Stop waiting for some magical moment when you'll finally feel ready. That moment is now. It's always now. There's no other time. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened. All you have is this moment. And in this moment, you can choose to be ready. Now, ready for what? Ready for everything. Ready for love. Ready for abundance. Ready for success. Ready for joy. Ready for peace. Ready for miracles. Ready for your highest good. Ready for your greatest expression. Ready for your true life. Not the life you've been settling for. Not the life you've been enduring. But the life you've been enduring. But the life that's been waiting for you to claim it. The life that's possible when you step into who you really are. And who are you really? You're love. That's it. It's all you are. Everything else is just costume, just persona, just roles you play. Beneath all of that, you're pure love. You're pure consciousness. You're pure spirit. And when you live from that place, when you identify with that truth, everything you do becomes an expression of love. Every word you speak becomes a blessing. Every action you take becomes a gift. Every person you meet becomes an opportunity to extend love. This is what it means to be awake. This is what it means to be conscious. This is what it means to be enlightened. Not some far-off state that only special people achieve, but a simple recognition of what's always been true. You are love. You are light. You are infinite. You are eternal. You are whole. You are complete. You are perfect, exactly as you are. Not when you fix yourself. Not when you improve yourself. Not when you change yourself. But right now, in this moment, as you are. The irony is, when you accept yourself completely as you are, that's when change happens. When you love yourself unconditionally, that's when transformation occurs. When you stop trying to be different, that's when you become who you were meant to be. It's the resistance that keeps you stuck. It's the judgment that keeps you small. It's the criticism that keeps you limited. When you drop all of that, when you just relax into being, everything opens up. You've been trying so hard. You've been pushing so much. You've been forcing and struggling and striving. And I'm here to tell you, you can stop now. You can relax. You can let go. You can trust. You can allow. You can receive. Because God knows you're ready. The universe knows you're ready. The only one who doesn't know you're ready is you. And even that's changing right now as you hear these words. As something inside you recognizes the truth of what's being said, you feel it, don't you? That stirring in your soul. That knowing in your heart, that yes rising up from within. That's not me convincing you of something. That's you remembering something. That's your true self, your higher self, your God self saying, yes, this is true. I am ready. I've always been ready. I just forgot for a while. And that's okay. Forgetting is part of the human experience. We all forget. We all get lost. We all get caught up in the illusion of separation. But then we remember. And the remembering is what this is all about. Every spiritual teaching, every wisdom tradition, every enlightened master throughout history has been pointing to the same truth. You are one with God. You are one with all that is. You are one with the source of all creation. There is no separation except in your mind. And when your mind lets go of the belief in separation, you experience union. You experience oneness. You experience love. Pure, unconditional, infinite love. Not love for something or someone, just love. Love is your natural state. Love is what you are. Living from this place changes everything. Your relationships change because you stop needing people to complete you. You stop needing people to make you happy. You stop needing people to validate you. You're already complete. You're already happy. You're already valid. So you're free to love people without needing anything from them. You're free to give without expecting anything in return. You're free to be present without agenda, and this is what people are starving for. Not your advice, not your fixing, not your saving, but your presence. Your authentic, loving, accepting presence. Your work changes because you stop doing it for money or recognition or security. You start doing it as an expression of who you are. You start doing it as a contribution. You start doing it as play. And when you work from that place, success becomes inevitable. Not because you're trying to be successful, but because you're aligned with your purpose. You're doing what you love. You're giving your gift. And the universe always supports that. Always. Without exception. Your health changes because you stop being at war with your body. You stop seeing it as the enemy. You stop trying to control it with force. You start listening to it. You start honoring it. You start treating it as the sacred temple it is. And your body responds. Your body heals. Your body thrives. Because your body wants to be healthy. That's its natural state. It only gets sick when you're out of alignment, when you're stressed, when you're resisting life, when you're living from fear instead of love. Your abundance changes because you stop seeing scarcity. You stop believing in lack. You stop thinking you have to compete for limited resources. You start seeing that we live in an abundant universe. There's more than enough for everyone. There's infinite supply. There's unlimited potential. And when you tap into that, when you open yourself to that, when you expect that, it flows to you easily, naturally, joyfully, but you have to be willing to receive. So many people are great at giving but terrible at receiving. They think it's spiritual to sacrifice, to struggle, to deny themselves. They think God wants them to suffer. Nothing could be further from the truth. God wants you to have everything. God wants you to experience joy. God wants you to live abundantly, not because you're special, but because that's the nature of God. God is abundance, God is joy, God is love. And you're made in God's image. So abundance, joy, and love are your natural state too. The only thing blocking your good is your belief that you don't deserve it, that it's not available to you, that it's wrong to have it. These are just thoughts. And thoughts can be changed. You've been thinking limiting thoughts for so long that they feel true, but they're not true. They're just familiar. There's a difference. Something can feel true because you've believed it for a long time, but that doesn't make it true. The truth is, you are worthy. You are deserving. You are enough. Not because of anything you've done or accomplished or achieved, but because of what you are. You are a child of God. You are an expression of the divine. You are a piece of the infinite. And that makes you inherently worthy, inherently deserving, inherently enough. When you know this, when you really know this, you stop seeking, you stop searching, you stop chasing, because you realize you already have what you've been looking for. You already are what you've been trying to become. You've just been looking in the wrong place. You've been looking outside when everything you need is inside. You've been looking in the future when everything you need is available now. You've been looking to others when everything you need is within you. This is the Great Awakening. This is the shift in consciousness. This is what it means to be ready. You're ready to stop looking outside. You're ready to stop waiting for someday. You're ready to stop depending on others. You're ready to turn within, to be here now, to trust yourself. And when you do that, when you make that shift, your whole life becomes a reflection of your inner state. Peace on the inside creates peace on the outside. Love on the inside creates love on the outside. Joy on the inside creates joy on the outside. You don't have to change the world. You just have to change yourself. And when you change yourself, your world changes. Not because the world changed, but because you change. You're seeing through different eyes. You're experiencing through a different consciousness. You're living from a different place. And from that place, everything looks different. Everything feels different. Everything is different. This is why you can have two people in the exact same situation, and one is miserable while the other is joyful. It's not the situation that determines your experience. It's your consciousness, it's your perspective, it's your inner state. And you get to choose your inner state. Nobody can make you angry, nobody can make you sad, nobody can make you afraid. You feel those feelings because of what you're thinking about what's happening, not because of what's actually happening. When you take responsibility for your feelings, you take your power back. When you stop blaming others for how you feel, you become free. When you realize that your experience is created by your thoughts, not by your circumstances, you become the master of your life instead of the victim. And this is what readiness is all about. It's about taking your power back. It's about standing in your sovereignty. It's about claiming your birthright as a creator. You are a creator. You've been creating all along. You just didn't realize it. Every thought you think is creating. Every word you speak is creating. Every action you take is creating. You're creating your life, moment by moment, thought by thought, choice by choice. The question is, are you creating consciously or unconsciously? Are you creating what you want or what you don't want? Are you creating from love or from fear? Most people are creating from fear without even knowing it. They're thinking fearful thoughts, speaking fearful words, taking fearful actions, and then they wonder why their life feels fearful. They're creating it, not because they're bad or wrong, but because they don't know any better. They haven't been taught how creation works. They haven't been taught about the power of their thoughts. They haven't been taught that they're the creator of their experience. But now you know. And once you know, you can't unknow. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Once you wake up, you can't go back to sleep. Oh, you can try. You can go into denial. You can pretend you don't know. You can keep living the way you've been living. But there will always be that part of you that knows. That part that remembers. That part that calls you back to truth. And that calling gets louder when you're ready. That's what's happening now. The calling is getting louder. The pull is getting stronger. The invitation is getting clearer. You're being called to step up, to wake up, to show up. You're being called to live your truth, to speak your truth, to be your truth. You're being called to stop playing small, to stop hiding, to stop waiting. You're being called to shine, to rise, to soar. And yes, it's scary. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it requires you to let go of everything you've known, everything you've believed, everything you've identified with. Yes, it requires you to die to who you've been so you can be reborn as who you really are. But that's what transformation is. That's what growth is. That's what evolution is. The caterpillar has to completely dissolve in the cocoon before it can become a butterfly. It doesn't just add wings to its current form. It completely transforms. And that's what's being asked of you. You're in the cocoon right now. You're in that space between who you were and who you're becoming. It's dark, it's confusing, it's uncomfortable, you don't know what's happening, you can't see where you're going. You just have to trust the process. You just have to surrender to the transformation. You just have to let go and let God. And when you do, when you fully surrender, when you completely let go, when you totally trust, something miraculous happens. You emerge, you transform, you become. Not something different than you are, but what you've always been. The butterfly was always in the caterpillar, it just hadn't been revealed yet. And your true self is always in you. It's always been in you. It just hasn't been fully revealed yet. But it's revealing itself now, layer by layer, moment by moment, breath by breath. You're becoming who you really are. This is the most exciting thing you could ever do. This is what you came here for. Not to accumulate stuff, not to achieve status, not to win approval, but to become who you really are. To express what only you can express. To give what only you can give. To be what only you can be. And the world needs you to do this. The world needs your authentic expression. The world needs your unique gift. The world needs your unique gift. The world needs your unique gift. The world needs your unique. Stop waiting for permission to shine. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. You're ready now. You've always been ready. You just didn't know it. But you know it now. And knowing it changes everything. So what do you do with this knowing? You live it. You embody it. You become it. You wake up every morning and remind yourself who you really are. You're not this body. You're not this name. You're not this story. You're infinite consciousness having a temporary human experience. You're God in disguise. You're love in form. You're light expressing itself. And when you remember this, everything changes. You walk through your day differently. You interact with people differently. You handle challenges differently. You see opportunities differently. Everything becomes lighter, easier, more joyful, not because life changed, but because you changed. And when you change, everything changes. This is my invitation to you. Stop waiting. Stop preparing. Stop getting ready. You're ready right now. Start living like the divine being you are. Start creating the life you came here to live. Start expressing the love you came here to give. Start being the light you came here to shine. The world is waiting for you. God is waiting for you. But most importantly, you. So give yourself permission. Give yourself approval. Give yourself love. Stop looking outside for what's already inside. Stop seeking from others what you need to give yourself. Stop waiting for circumstances to change before you start living. Start living now. Start loving now. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. God knows you're ready. The universe knows you're ready. Now it's time for you to know you're ready. And when you know it, when you really know it, when you live from that knowing, miracles happen. Doors open. Opportunities appear. People show up. Synchronicities increase. Life flows. And you realize that this is how it was always meant to be. This is your natural state. This is who you really are. Welcome home. Welcome to yourself. Welcome to the truth of who you are. You're ready. You've always been ready. And now your life gets to reflect that readiness. Now your life gets to demonstrate that truth. Now your life gets to be the miracle it was always meant to be. Not because you did anything special, not because you became someone different, but because you remembered. You remembered who you are. You remembered where you came from. You remembered why you're here. And that remembering is enough. That remembering changes everything. That remembering is the key to everything you've been looking for. So go live it, go be it, go express it. The world needs you. We've been waiting for you. And you're ready now. God knows you're ready. And so do you. There's something I need you to understand about the nature of problems. Most people think problems are obstacles to their happiness. They think, if only I could solve this problem, then I'd be happy. If only this situation would change, then I'd be at peace. But problems aren't obstacles to your life. Problems are your life. They're not interruptions to your growth. They're the very means of your growth. Every challenge you face is actually an opportunity. Every difficulty is actually a teacher. Every obstacle is actually a doorway. When you shift your relationship with problems, everything shifts. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? What is this calling forth from within me? Because that's what problems do. They call forth qualities from within you that were dormant. They activate potential that was sleeping. They bring out strength you didn't know you had, courage you didn't know you possessed, wisdom you didn't know was available to you. Think about it. Have you ever grown from things going well? Have you ever evolved from everything being easy? Have you ever discovered your power from never being challenged? No. You grew from the hard times. You evolved from the struggles. You discovered your power from being tested. And that's not punishment. That's not God being cruel. That's love. That's life loving you so much that it's willing to challenge you, to push you, to stretch you beyond what you thought possible. The universe is not interested in your comfort. The universe is interested in your growth. God is not trying to give you an easy life. God is trying to give you a meaningful life. And meaning comes from overcoming, from rising above, from transcending your limitations. Meaning comes from using your challenges as fuel for your transformation. Meaning comes from turning your pain into purpose, your wounds into wisdom, your mess into your message. You have a message. Everyone does. Your message is encoded in your struggles. The very things you've been through, the very things you've overcome, the very things you've learned. That's your message. That's what you have to give. That's what will help others. Because someone out there is going through what you went through. Someone out there is struggling with what you struggled with. Someone out there needs to hear that it's possible to make it through, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that they're not alone. But you can't give that message if you're still ashamed of your story, You can't help others if you're still hiding your truth. You can't be a light for others if you're still living in darkness about your past. This is part of what readiness means. Being ready to own your story. Being ready to share your journey. Being ready to be vulnerable, authentic, real, not perfect, not polished, not pretending, but real. People don't need more perfection. We're drowning in images of perfection. We're suffocating under the pressure to have it all together. What people need is realness. What people need is honesty. What people need is someone to say, me too. I've been there. I know what that feels like. And here's what helped me. That's healing. That's connection. That's love in action. And here's what's beautiful. When you help others, you help yourself. When you give your gift, you receive. When you share your light, you get brighter. It's not a one-way street. It's a circle. It's a flow. Energy flows where attention goes. And when you focus on contribution, on service, on making a difference, that energy comes back to you multiplied. Not because you're trying to get something, but because that's how the universe works. Give and you receive. Serve and you're served. Love and you're loved. But you have to give first. You have to serve first. You have to love first. You can't wait until you have more before you give. You can't wait until you're fixed before you serve. You can't wait until you're perfect before you love. You give from where you are. You serve with what you have. You love as you are. And in the giving, the serving, the loving, you become more. You attract more. You experience more. This is the paradox of spiritual life. You have to give away what you want to keep. You have to lose your life to find it. You have to die to the old to be born to the new. It doesn't make logical sense, but it makes spiritual sense. It's how transformation works. It's how growth happens. It's how you become who you're meant to be. And becoming is a process. It's not an event. It's not a destination. It's a continual unfolding. You don't arrive and then you're done. You arrive and then there's another level. You achieve and then there's another mountain. You grow, and then there's more growing. And that's not a problem. That's the adventure. That's the excitement. That's what makes life worth living. Boredom doesn't come from having nothing to do. Boredom comes from not growing. When you're growing, when you're evolving, when you're expanding, life is fascinating. Every day brings something new. Every moment is fresh. Every experience is an opportunity to learn, to discover, to become more of who you are. And you never run out of room to grow. You never exhaust your potential. You never reach a ceiling where there's nothing more, because you're infinite. Your potential is unlimited. Your possibilities are endless. So stop thinking small. Stop limiting yourself. Stop accepting mediocrity. Stop settling for less than what's possible. You're capable of so much more than you think. You have so much more potential than you're using. You have so much more power than you're accessing. And it's all right there inside you. It's always been there. You just have to claim it. You just have to activate it. You just have to say yes to it. Saying yes is powerful. Yes opens doors. Yes creates possibilities. Yes invites miracles. When you say yes to life, life says yes to you. When you say yes to growth, growth happens. When you say yes to love, love flows. But most people are living in no. No, I can't. No, it's not possible. No, not for me. No, I'm not ready. No, I'm not worthy. No, I'm not enough. And every no closes a door. Every no blocks a possibility. Every no prevents a miracle. What if you just started saying yes? Yes to opportunities. Yes to challenges. Yes to growth. Yes to love. Yes to life. Yes to yourself. Yes to God. What would happen? What would open up? What would become possible? You don't know until you try. You don't know until you say yes. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to know how it's all going to work out. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to see the whole path. You just have to take the next step. You just have to say yes to this moment. You just have to trust that the way will be shown. And it will be. It always is. When you take a step in faith, the next step appears. When you move in the direction of your dreams, the path opens up. When you follow your inner guidance, you're led to exactly where you need to be. Not where you thought you needed to be, not where you planned to be, but where you actually need to be for your highest good, for your greatest growth, for your true purpose. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the unfolding. Everything is happening exactly as it should. There are no mistakes, there are no accidents, there are no coincidences. Everything is divinely orchestrated. Everything is perfectly aligned. Everything is working together for your good, even when it doesn't look like it, even when it doesn't feel like it, even when you can't see it. Trust anyway. Believe anyway. Have faith anyway. Faith is not believing that everything will be easy. Faith is trusting that everything will be okay. Faith is knowing that you're supported, guided, loved, no matter what. Faith is resting in the arms of the divine, surrendering to the flow, allowing life to carry you. And when you have that kind of faith, when you live from that place of trust, life becomes an adventure instead of a struggle. Life becomes a gift instead of a burden. Life becomes a blessing instead of a curse. Your life is a blessing, every moment of it, every experience, every person, every challenge, every joy, all of it is a blessing. All of it is grace. All of it is God loving you, teaching you, growing you, preparing you for what's next. And what's next is always better than what was. Not because circumstances always improve, but because you improve. You grow. You expand. You become more of who you really are. And as you become more of who you really are, life gets better. Not the external life necessarily, but the internal life. And the internal life is what matters. The internal life is where true happiness lives. The internal life is where real peace exists. The internal life is where love resides. Everything you've been searching for is already within you. Stop looking outside, stop seeking elsewhere, stop waiting for someone or something to complete you. You're already complete, you're already whole, you're already everything you need to be. Now just live like it. Now just be it. Now just express it. That's all that's left, that's all that's required, that's all that matters. Be yourself. Your true self, your authentic self, your divine self, and watch what happens. Watch how life responds. Watch how the universe supports you. Watch how everything aligns, because it will. It must. It's the law.